Hi, this is Marlene, astrologer extraordinaire. Just wanted to go into a little bit more about Venus retrograde. Before I go there, just a quick tidbit. The moon just went into Leo about an hour ago, so this might bring some of you out of your shell because we have such a preponderance of planets in Pisces right now. The moon is very heartwarming in Leo, so it'll be the next 2.5 days it'll spend in Leo, so it may give you the impulse to want to go outside, maybe take the boat out, go for a nice walk on the beach where it's sunny, or a good time to have a party, backyard barbecue. That's definitely right up Leo's alley. So anyhow, Venus retrograde. I know I've made another post on this, but I wanted to talk a little bit more in depth about it because it's really been very challenging and troublesome and, let's say, exasperating for a lot of people. And this is an especially long cycle, or it may feel like that to you. And reason being is that cycle came in right on the tail end of Mars retrograde and then going direct. So even though a lot of astrologers don't really account for a Mars and retrograde cycle playing havoc with relationships, it really, really does. So when all is said and done, we're talking about a 6 to a 7 month period when relationships would be really, really challenged. So that's a long time. So right now, if you're somebody that's been in a long-term relationship, and I hate to say the D word, but even if you've been in a relationship for years, there's people right now that are on the precipice of talking about a separation or talking about the D word, as I was going to say, divorce. And, you might want to give it a little bit more time. So at this time, it's really going to require a lot of digging deep. I mean, if you and your partner do have good communication, this would be the time where you really might want to sit down and say, can we have this in-depth conversation? And it's going to require peeling back a lot of the layers and, being able to really get vulnerable with each other and having those hard conversations that, might be a little bit challenging to have. I keep looking out here because I'm not accustomed to looking right into the camera, so I'm more accustomed to looking out the window. So I might just be doing that. So anyhow, I know how hard it's hard right now for a lot of people, and doing readings and then talking to a few people that are just like, I'm at my wit's end. I don't know what to do here. It's hard. The good thing is, if you're willing to have those in-depth conversations, it will really help you to bring the relationship to another level. Now, you may not feel the outcome of that while we're still in the retrograde period, but after April 12th, then when Venus goes direct, we're still in the shadow period, but you're going to be able to look at each other and feel a little bit more grateful that you had that conversation. So I would really do my best to try and do that. Now, another thing I wanted to talk about, still on the angle of relationships. Let's say you're single, you've been dating, you've been looking, maybe you've met somebody that you thought had all of the hallmarks of what could potentially be a really good relationship for you. And then you go out on a few dates and he or she says, you know, I think we might be moving a little bit too fast, or could we just take a step back, or could we take a breather, or, you know, I thought maybe I was on the right track with you, but now I'm not really too sure. So I know that can be really disheartening, especially if you met someone and you really had your hopes up and you thought, wow, there's, you know, the possibilities are really, really good here. I feel it, she feels it, he feels it. It's really a tough time for that. It's almost actually better, as hard as it can be, to hold off and you know, maybe not go out on a date with that person. That is, if you haven't yet. And or, you know, again, as hard as it might be, just honor that and say, you know, all right, you know, maybe that's a good idea. And that might be really hard for you to do that, but you'll be glad that you did afterwards. I know, as somebody I've been talking to recently, this is just an example, a friend of mine, you know, a very similar thing happened to him. And so while he put the brakes on for that particular person, he thought, oh, well, you know, I guess this isn't going to work out. My hopes were up, but she said, you know, we're moving too fast. So he decided to start dating, open up the, you know, his dating world again, you know, met somebody else, thought, wow, you know, okay, we have some great possibilities here. Then, of course, Mars retrograde, we were still in the Mars retrograde cycle at that time. Now the other one comes back and says, well, hi, you know, wait a minute, hello. Well, I didn't want to not talk to you at all. Or, wow, it's been a couple months and I haven't heard from you. Well, you're the one who said you wanted to put the brakes on. You're the one that said, this is moving too fast. So there can be a lot of that as well. As soon as you do that, somebody else from the past, you know, they're going to start rethinking that and say, well, yeah, now that he or she's not here, maybe I'm realizing how much I appreciate that person after all. Or now you've had time to ruminate, turn things over in your mind about that person. And of course, you know the saying that they say, you don't know what you've got till it's gone. Well, you know, it's really, really true. So, whoops, a message just came up on my screen. So, keep that in mind. And there are definitely going to be people showing up from your past. They may be people that you want to see again. I mean, it could be even friends or somebody you used to work with, not necessarily a love or romantic, although it can be that as well. So, you know, that's up to you whether you want to give that person another chance again. Excuse me, I'm getting thirsty. Or that you know in your heart that it's really over. You know, that's something in the past. You don't want to go there anymore. You know, you can always sit down and have a chat with that person and see where they're at if you're thinking about revisiting somebody that you saw in the past, that maybe there was unfinished business there, and you might want to talk about it and see if there's, you know, any possibilities. If it's somebody that, you know, really did you wrong or was involving third parties or, you know, just was maybe disrespectful, certainly disrespectful, you know, not really honoring, you know, your wishes, then that's a big no. That's a big no for me. Only you can make that decision, but I wouldn't recommend it. So anyhow, I just wanted to touch base and on the Venus retrograde cycle, because I'm really getting a lot of static from people around me that are just truly at their wits' end and just don't know what to do, and are actually considering serious separation. So hang in there, listen to the tape, run it back, and think about maybe approaching it, from a different way, and really sitting down and having that tough conversation with that person. Okay, I'll catch up with you soon. Bye-bye.